You're kidding.
That's all the way down there.
Is it frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking everything out of my car every night so it doesn't freeze.
Does that laundry detergent freeze?
No.
Liquid?
The
Yeah.
liquid, not
Yes,
so it's
liquid.
very,
All right,
very
let's
soft.
stop that. We're on TV now. Is that okay? Okay. Which one is this one? For who?
Thank you.
Oh. We're going to open the meeting of the Historic District Commission on Thursday, February 19th at 1:08. This is a continuation of the meeting on Tuesday, February 17th. We are in the community room as opposed to upstairs. Evidently, they must have canceled what was upstairs. Present are Abby Camp, myself, Linda Williams, Diane Coombs, and Ray Cole, and this is it. This is all you're going to get is the four of us today. We have an audio tape and a TV tape. If anybody else would like to tape it, let me know now. Not seeing anybody. We will go on. We have an agenda. I think we're okay with the agenda as you have it. We took one off. Somebody want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Diane's made a motion to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So it is Dan, Ray. Okay. Any public comment out there? Not seeing any. We'll keep moving. We have one item of consent. Hugh Davis, 22 York Street. So we don't make a motion?
Would he have a door and
A door and a window, an outdoor shower.
I'll motion to approve that.
Diane's made a motion to approve Hugh Davis. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that was unanimous. I don't see them here. Okay. Now we're going to segue right into Beach Nut. We have a chair. Roll the chair up. Usually there's a table here, but that's not there.
Yeah.
You can just roll a chair over to the front.
We have to peek at that together.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I just was telling you.
I just have a couple things to add to the application, if that's okay. There was a previous house approved for this lot, which is very similar to what's being proposed. So here is what's being proposed, and this was what was previously already approved for this lot. It has a handful of horses starting to die.
Do we have one?
Handfuls. Oh, I can get you more if you want.
Yeah, we,
Handful of photos.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
need their name for record.
Michelle,
Name for record.
Michelle, give your name for the
Oh,
record.
Michelle Bellerville, Grand Bulls of Etiquette. Spell it B-E-L-L-E-R-J-E-A-U.
Would it be good if you're sitting and you speak into one of those microphones? Because the other ones aren't set up.
this has been previously approved to be
This was the-
demolished.
Yes, this was the previously approved dwelling.
Is that it also?
How
No,
long
these
is-
are the neighborhood photographs.
When was this approved? How long ago?
Not, last year. I can find out the 100% what the C of A was.
Only because there's things on it that we don't approve.
But just to clarify, this demo for this application has not been approved. Diane.
It has not been,
I think Diane's question was 1A phase.
Yeah.
Has it been approved? It has not been approved.
No, we know
Demo.
that. We're talking about the original.
I think she's asking the same.
We have an original application.
Do we have to,
I think she's asking.
No,
No, she's
but-
asking about the original house with the original application. Did we allow it to be demolished 2 years ago, whenever, how long ago it was when they approved that thing?
but it has not been approved. The demolition has not been approved.
Originally, it was approved, correct?
the demo?
I thought Katie said no.
No, she's talking about currently.
Nothing has been approved on this application.
Correct, that's our one.
Right, but the original house was that a modification of the original house or a demo of the original house and a reconstruction?
Demo of the original house and a new construction
Okay.
had been previously approved.
A demo was approved last year.
I don't know.
I'd have to sort back through the file, and I can provide you with the previous approval, so.
Because there's stuff on this approval that even last year we did not have approved.
What is the difference between one crow's nest and 1A?
1A is the actual property where we're doing the proposal,
Yep,
and 1 is a completely separate lot.
okay.
Do you have a picture of your house here somewhere? It's always good to put that on this
I
plan.
thought it might be actually on the elevations in the, no, I have way too many. It would be here in the demo plan of the packet. I'm not sure which one we're starting with. Are we starting with the
I
demo?
have the new dwellings up.
Okay, so if we show the demo, then there's the pictures on the actual application for the demo.
Okay, so we probably need a demo now.
This is the previous house, this is what's coming.
The one that's on top of it is the one that was. That's previous, that's what we proposed. Yeah, and that was not a unanimous vote to get rid of that house either.
No,
We had a lot more history, we have more history on it than previous. Why are you asking for a demolition again?
Right.
If we already approved the demolition last year?
That's a good question.
I think that needs to be scoped out.
Okay.
Because we did not approve the demo, and what they were doing to it was basically demoing it, but they were building a new structure on top of it. That would be an entirely different issue.
Could you say that again, Linda?
Did we allow the demolition? You can't ask for, why were you asking for demolition twice?
I know.
First off.
And
And if we didn't allow the demolition before, was that design that we're looking at on the bottom of those sheets working with this house?
I think that this bottom one, do you remember?
I remember,
Was-
but there's stuff on there that I don't remember approving at all.
You mean like the big windows
Well, it has big windows in the house now.
and
I'm talking about
the
the weird shutters.
yeah, the shutters. I haven't been out to see this in some time,
You don't want to.
but
Yeah, don't risk your life to get out there at the moment.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 light doors, we don't ever approve those.
right.
We don't approve these weird
And they're so
side
narrow.
lights, the narrow side lights on these picture windows. So I think there's something wrong with this drawing. The form, I don't think anybody has any problems with at the moment. But there are elements on these drawings that we don't approve. 4/4s, there's ever. I don't think I've ever
Well,
approved a 14 light door in my
she's
life.
asking for this one with the
I know, but
Right.
she's saying that we approved this other one.
yeah.
And I don't think so. I don't think that drawing is correct.
I want to ask a question.
Who was the previous architect, do we know?
Goldsmith.
No, on
No.
the previous approved, no, it was whoever owned the lot before Goldsmith bought it.
Oh, well, why are these drawings labeled Graham Goldsmith?
It's
Because
just,
that's their
it's just
production.
showing you
That's
that
their piece of paper.
the upper part is ours and the lower is what was previously approved with the previous owner of
Okay.
the lot.
Okay.
But I
So
don't
that's
think that
one, the
drawing-
handout
I
that
don't
I
think
gave
that
you.
drawing is correct.
Okay.
So I think that needs to be scoped out, but either way. Right now, we need to also identify whether or not we already approved a demo, so the demo has to be on hold. And so I guess we're now down to discussing the 4 structures on this lot.
Which
4
date?
structures.
Yeah. Well, we're reviewing one, but
We're reviewing
the
the
site
main
plan,
house at the moment.
the site plan has 4 structures on it.
Currently, the lot
Shed,
has,
garage, guest house, main house.
currently the lot has 1 structure.
Correct.
Right.
1-story low
One
structure.
one-story house.
Okay?
Right.
Okay. Now we're looking at the new house.
The handout, I remember from before you guys wanted to go back and view the lot, there was some concern about the coverage, like it was too much coverage for the lot, and that's within square feet of what's allowable. The idea that we had for this lot that Graham wanted to do is, instead of doing one larger garage guest house or larger house with guest quarters, he wanted to separate them so that it would feel a little bit more like the fishing village sense, and you can see from the overall site plan on this handout that I gave you that there are definitely lots with singular houses that are larger footprints or similar size footprint. But there are also a bunch of lots that have a bunch of little structures on it, or smaller ancillary structures. So he wanted to be in keeping with that. That's why it's a shed, a garage, a guest house, and a main house. And the other question last time, which was a really long time ago, pre-blizzard, first blizzard, that the height of the building, we are thinking it's a 1.5 story. I mean, the front elevation has one mass that is, it's not a full 2-story. The plate is not above the windows on any of the elevations. So it is smaller, and in the neighboring houses, none of the neighboring houses.
It's smaller than what?
It's smaller than some of the neighboring houses with
What if he was
elevation.
Swan?
No,
Don't
even
bother with Swan.
I'm doing like right behind him on Clover Lane, and even some of the adjacent houses. They're 1.5 story, but also very tall 1.5 stories. Most
Where
of
is
them.
Clover?
I have a height
Where's
of what,
Clover?
28.7?
Let me double check
No.
on this.
I got it right here.
Yeah, what's that?
26 feet.
26.7.
Yeah, 26 feet and a half an inch.
I think we have too much stuff going on at the table at the moment.
There's a lot of.
So, Ray and I have both been out there. Diane went out there before. You can't get out there.
I
Ray
know
got
the
stuck-
house very
Ray
well.
got stuck in the mud.
I'm so sorry about that.
My fault.
You just can't tell that it's that bad
Yeah.
until you actually get onto it. Ray, you have comments.
Yeah, well, my observation, you have the document here that shows sort of the other houses. A lot of these houses, more than half, you haven't shown photographs of, presumably because they're quite a bit smaller than the house you're proposing, like single-story houses. When I stood out there, I looked to the left and I looked to the right, and what I could see was either single-story houses or houses that were very low, modest story-and-a-half houses. I don't have an objection per se to the 26 feet. I think that's okay. But the idea of something got lost in translation when you were saying, well, we were going to decrease the overall size of the main house by having these other 3 outbuildings. I don't see a house that's gotten, smaller as a result of peeling off those other buildings. And frankly, I was misreading this document when you first handed it out, because I thought, like, wow, this is just about the same size as your proposal, because I was looking at your proposal. But the house underneath that was approved is probably, I would say, 2/3 of the size, and I'm talking about overall mass, like length of ridge, percentage of single-story to 2-story or story-and-a-half mass. In other words, I don't think it's helping your case to show what was previously approved, because it's substantially smaller, albeit larger than the existing neighbors. It's substantially smaller than the proposal that you're making right now. So my comment is basically that I think that this house, the main house, is overscaled for the neighborhood. That's
Does everybody
where I am.
agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So let's not go picking it apart. I agree with Ray. It is 76 feet long.
Sorry.
We have a musical
We know
interlude.
about it.
Shall we do the minuet?
Is it St. Patrick's Day?
We did.
That's Louis this.
Oh, it is?
15.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
Sorry.
minuet,
he
guys.
was Irish, wasn't
Eventually.
I think my friend's ancestors just rolled over.
So this is 76 feet long, and it doesn't really have additive massing. It's got gables, it's got hips, it's got rafter tails, it's got it's got corner boards, it's got no identity. I don't know what it is. It can't pass for shingle style. And the ridge is 46, so I haven't forgot to mention that, if I already did. The dormers aren't
46 feet.
correct. It's just not going to work for me at all.
I
In this
think,
location, I don't think it's an appropriate, I think the massing is all wrong. I think we need to go back to the drawing board, and we need to go back and pull out the original approval, getting the original files from whenever.
I'd like to be interested to see what the square footage was on the original new one against the present new one, because you're right on all that stuff. This one has much lower and more additive massing than the,
Well, the other one's a one-story structure that was added, you can see the main core of it, I remember this from before.
Yeah.
And then they added on and added on.
This
Now
one?
it got a little, no, the original.
Oh,
Now it got a little
yeah.
wonky, because they didn't want to go up, they just added on a wing, added on a wing, added on a wing.
Yeah, they have like 5 wings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how that got there, but that is a very typical way of expanding those houses out there, the ones that are still relatively intact, as opposed to some new monster.
In plan, though, there is there is additive massing on both the left and the right, and the left side comes out forward of the entry, just like the existing does. I mean, it's kind of an L shape, well,
But it's not.
somewhat L shaped in
If
the
you look at the
existing.
site plan, there is way too much going on. It's way too beefy. It is way too massive, and the guest house is massive, the garage and the shed. They don't have anybody out there with 4 structures on a property. No one, not one lot. At least on the old GIS maps. There's not one thing out there that's not multiple cottages, which doesn't count further down, Crow's cottages. There isn't anybody that has this much ground cover and this many buildings. You just don't have it. And certainly not blocking the entire front of the house from Crow's Nest Way. Because you go from the shed to the garage to the guest house, blocks the entire house.
right.
And the house is at a different elevation than these guys as you're stepping. But I don't really see, I see some, but I don't know how you're manipulating the grade where the old house used to spend, because this is covering more ground cover than the old house. So I don't know how you're making it flat. And I don't know what elevation these other guys are. Or if are you
They're a little lower.
Are you manipulating the grade? Because some of these are crossing over grade, and I don't know if you're raising, lowering, setting in. So that stuff is missing. But 4 structures on this lot is not something I'm going to ever consider. If you're going to have another structure, which most of them on that side of the street in that area don't have in that little block, it would have to be a guest house or a garage with an apartment over it with a shed attached to it. It isn't going to be 4 structures running across the front of the house, just on a conceptual point of view. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I don't think-
conceptually.
That I don't think they're properly placed. You have to make a decision whether this house is going to be on Crow's Nest, which is what most of them are, or
Well, it has
looking
no-
down the harbor, because you have to put the other buildings somewhere.
It's in roughly the same location as the
Yes.
original house.
Right,
It's
but
actually
the original
back.
house doesn't have all the extra.
No, it doesn't. So that's the point. But it also doesn't have 3 structures coming straight across the front of it, even if
Right.
they're staggered. That's a problem, a major problem on those other 3 structures. I'm not approving 3 structures on this lot, especially ones coming in front of the house. I think where you have the guest house located is okay for something to be over there. But it
And
would
the
have to
size.
combine all this stuff. And several houses out there actually have used the grade change to actually drive into a garage below grade.
I don't think we have
That's
enough
not-
grade change here,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I've seen,
you
I know
don't
what you're
have
talking
that in what
about.
I-
Further down, there's
Further down the-
You're
more.
also very close to the water table
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
as I discovered.
Yes. We are moving it back from, because where the original house does not comply with Concom, the floodplain. So we are moving it back to comply there.
But
So
you're not
that's-
raising the grade to keep it up?
We are raising the grade a little bit at the main house, but not that much.
We
I mean,
don't
not,
have that.
yeah, I need to include
We
that on the
absolutely
grade.
have to have the cutaway showing where the grade is changing, and that has to be clearly delineated on the elevations.
Can I also mention that on the ground cover that's allowable on this lot is 3,383 square feet. And the total proposed here is 3,364 feet. It's
What's the existing?
less than,
They have room for one more 20
It's a-
square foot structure.
I said within feet of the allowable ground coverage.
yeah,
so-
that's it.
Yeah, it's just barely under.
Out,
It's true.
out there,
All right, let's not keep going.
the ground cover is not quite so dense as that. That's,
Yep.
So the motion would be to hold for revisions instead
Yeah.
to revisions, I mean, a whole redo.
and,
Yeah.
and history on
Oh.
what's been,
Well, yes.
Demolished.
We'll get that out
in-house.
of the office.
Because knowing whether there was a demo permit issue
We're gonna,
is at least
Katie and I are
important.
gonna pull out the original files.
Thanks.
So there's motion to hold for revisions.
yes, please.
That's Diane's motion. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And motion to hold the rest of them. Correct? Hold the demo because we don't know the status of that. The guest house, the garage, and the shed are all being held at track. Is that your motion,
Yes.
Diane? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Because you already told it, the garage was a little
Yep. So,
big.
we'll be
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Sandy Light LLC. So- Right into the microphone. Okay.
So, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it's on the corner of Delaney and 64 Cliff.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The board is, never mind.
Yep.
This is the garage facing the sun.
Yes.
This is the whole, the revisions to the house and the walk down.
Yeah.
You guys,
There is an issue
can
with the
share
second curb cut.
it was sold to
Because it's all
them.
one lot, doesn't matter. For planning board purposes, they do not have a second curb cut.
So Randy sold it to them and why?
We gotta go back to the planning board and talk to the planning board.
Okay.
Talk to Andrew and Leslie.
Okay.
Because what happened before is that you had two separate lots.
Whoa.
They had a curb cut where our old curb cut was coming on to Delaney,
Mhm.
which already existed.
Okay.
And then the front lot had the one coming to Cliff Road, which already existed when we had the whole front, we had the house. And what has happened
She's
is
doing
that the
a
lots were split, so they each
basement
had one. When they got recombined,
Bulkhead stair.
they're not entitled to that curb cut.
So I'll go back.
So you gotta go talk to them. So the
Okay.
garage curb cut is the problem,
Understood.
not the Cliff Road one.
Got it.
That's actually the original curb cut,
Right.
period, for the whole lot, when it was a farm.
Understood. So you guys had a series of fenestration changes, all of which I made. Ray wanted the front door surround to be changed. I eliminated the transoms and all window changes that you got. And then the two major things that you guys had big issues with were moving the walk down. So we've moved it, made it, as narrow as possible and as out of the way exactly where Linda asked for it to be.
Was that over here before,
right here.
Sophie? Was
Yeah,
on
it
Delaney
was,
Bo-
it was
yeah.
literally on
So it's on
Delaney.
the back now.
So
Okay.
they have window wells, which we'll have to talk about.
Okay, they were just hoping for grates, so that they're almost entirely visible. And then the garage,
Those are egress windows, are they not?
yes.
Yeah.
And so Ray had done a motion Don really wanted it 4 feet back, which the owners agreed to move it 4 feet back. So we effectively did exactly what you asked for in all regard.
Are these, they're 3/3s, right, Sue?
Yes,
And the transoms are gone.
yes.
Transom's gone, yeah.
They're not 8-foot doors, right?
No,
Because they're 18 light doors, and they probably should be 15 light doors.
I may, if you look at the window schedule, and right there to your left on the bottom there, I think there's 7-foot doors. They're supposed to be 15 light. I think John is 18 light.
No, they're 18 light, they should be all 15 light.
Okay.
Okay, so the French doors should be 15 light. Is everybody okay with the fenestration at the moment?
I am, yeah.
Everybody okay where they relocated the walk down?
Totally.
Yes.
Now, the only other thing you're not showing, so on your elevations, you've got to show the window wells.
Where are the windows? I don't see them.
Well, it's
Yes,
back
here on Delaney Road.
We
Right
don't
here.
stamp the site plan. So it doesn't matter what you say on the site plan. They have to be on the elevations.
On this, is this, the curb cut that
That's
you
the
do
curb
not
cuts
have?
they don't have anymore.
This is the house up in front, your
Yes.
house is here.
There's a house here,
Right.
and there are houses.
And this is
This
just
is
cut
the
coming
original.
in.
This is the
So-
one that everybody used to knock their mirrors off trying to find.
What's gonna happen is,
She has to go and ask. I mean, we can go ahead and grant this all day.
Yeah, I mean, you guys approved it last time with the 2 curb cuts, and they bought it under the pretense that they had 2 curb cuts in exactly
So now
those locations.
They combined the lots. Now you gotta go back to the
Well-
planning board to find out what to do with it. Because this is our original cut, and that's our original cut. But now they're all on one lot again.
Got
And
it.
I don't know if you can claim the grandfathering at all.
Okay.
Because the driveway used to come in and go out there.
'Cause
Actually,
you
it's
need
moved a little
one-
bit. The driveway was right there. So
This-
it's moved.
this house is going to need one,
They have one.
and your house,
They have one.
so there's gonna be 3 curb cuts right in a
There's gonna be
row
a fourth one.
along Delaney.
Can you just drive over the grass?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. They do it all the time in
Not when you have a
Wisconsin.
garage there. They're gonna know. It's a curb cut. So let's keep
You
moving.
know, it's, I
Let's
think
move
it's a
beyond it.
reasonable
All right.
thing.
It's not within our purview now,
Right.
but there is a problem. But my concern was the window wells. They're huge. But see, I don't see them
Can I
here.
make a suggestion on that score, Linda? Because I hear what you're saying. Can we grant this approval for the drawings as shown with the stipulation that Sophie just comes back with another request for the window wells, a separate request?
Because they're big and they're all right on the road.
Well, so she heard that and, you know,
Well, what if I,
in
Are
other
there double
words,
windows in here, in each one of them?
Yes, that is the desire.
The one that's up on the corner is clearly visible because they made them cut down the hedge. The one right up next to the front door,
Mhm.
Right.
okay, upper left. The
Yep.
big one that's closest to the street, which is right behind it. And then these 2 smaller ones. Now, the 2 smaller ones are in the inset area. They could probably go with grates.
Great.
It's these 2 front ones that are a big problem up in that corner.
and so what did you want to do? Are you suggesting eliminating them or
You gonna be like
screening?
size
I
requirement?
think she
maybe?
needs to eliminate the one that's up in the front of the
that
house.
sticks out towards Delaney?
And the one towards Delaney is problematic, because you will be able to see right into it.
But as you had said earlier, that her elevations don't have them dashed in or anything,
They don't.
so we'd have to make the approval like exclusive of any window well thing, so that it
And
came
we
in
can work the
separate.
window wells out.
Okay.
And then they can come back in on consent. We know where we want them
Right.
and where we don't want them.
Should I,
That's
can I make a
simple.
motion to
So the motion
approve
would be to
with the
approve with no
window-
window wells.
no window wells, but if you can come back and do it?
So it doesn't look like you have any window wells on the backside.
We can't because it's all
Yeah.
wet.
Wet.
I mean, it's,
Oh.
they also bought it under pretense they can have a full basement, and I don't know if
Oh,
that's
yeah.
gonna be possible.
They've got a huge basement. We just have to figure out where to put them and how to put them. All right, so right now, Abby's made a motion to approve without the window wells, and just come back, we'll come back to that.
On there.
Okay? All those in favor of Abby's motion?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Okay. We have Malu. This one's ready to go. We worked out the window and some of the mountain issues already. They're open and closed, that's all you have to do.
Motion for approval.
But did you realign those windows?
I can tell you what they did, yeah, but they didn't give me the prints in time to print them, but I
Okay,
can tell you what they did.
The only issue is to make sure that the front, it was only the front 4?
The post and the windows, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So this is what you have in front of you that Katie has now.
Because there are 4 windows in the front and the door all line up in between the posts. They're off slightly and they look kind of weird.
Yeah, I remember this.
So I can tell you what they did when you're ready.
Yeah.
You can do that through staff. Go ahead. Representing the applicant is?
Victoria Ewing. So in order to accommodate the spacing and the windows better on the front elevation, southwest elevation, they added 1 foot to the overall length of the porch. They increased the post spacing, or the center section of the post spacing around the front door by 2 feet, and then they pulled the 2 inner windows towards the front door 6 inches. So, and then they realigned the other posts to even out on the porch to make it appear that they're more centered in between the posts.
This is on Catchall, right?
No, this is on Mashimi, which is
Mashimi.
technically 21 Tacoma Way.
There are all kinds of different kinds of houses going in there. We got some 5-bay colonials, we got all kinds. This is probably the least huge of the houses that are going in there. I know Ryan is changing his. The only thing I ask is that the A windows be centered in those posts. Instead
Can
of
you do that,
further
Tori?
off.
Yeah, so what I just described does that.
Oh,
Those changes that I just described.
That's the only change.
okay.
Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so somebody can make a motion through staff that on the southwest front elevation, the 4 windows in the main mass are centered between the posts.
So moved.
That's Diane's motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Great.
Great, thanks.
We have Tommy Arena, 1 Tacoma Way. Who's sitting, we're okay with the boards, right? Everybody's sitting?
Everyone has sat on everything, yes, and this is also, everyone sits.
Okay, representing the applicant is?
TJ Waterson, Concept Design. And,
Hold on, everybody get it open. Over the previous concerns.
The north elevation, the thing hanging off the side is not appropriate. You should turn it into a 2-car garage.
What'd you do?
so we had a few changes. We brought the shed addition to a broken back addition on this garage. We made the rear and front wall of the garage is flush. Make it read like a regular 2-car garage, and we matched the existing door size and style to make it read as a single build. So.
One question, Ray, for you. Where the back breaks,
Yeah.
is that a little too high?
Well, it seems to me he doesn't have a lot of choice there.
Because he's got an even gable right now, and he's raising the break.
But he's got to have the height of the
Yeah,
door.
yeah. That's the, am I right?
It is
I mean,
a function of the garage door height and getting the plate height high enough to get the,
Well, and keeping the 4 and 12 roof pitch.
yeah.
You could change it if you reduce the roof pitch, but then it would be less than a 4. So I think this is sort of, it's this or you
Or
know,
nothing.
not
Correct.
this. Right.
Correct.
What are the colors? on the
It should be on the application, it's all matching existing, so,
Yeah, so TMA.
White,
Is it white?
the sash says to match existing, the door says to match existing.
What
Trim
color
is
are the
white.
doors?
I believe they're white as well.
They should not be white when you double them up right next to each other, because
Yeah.
nobody has this construction.
I was wondering if it could be something less
These are fiber.
gray, or, you can still paint.
Could we do
fiber
like
glass,
natural?
Here's the picture of the doors.
But is one existing? Is it, this isn't
But I
one
don't want
existing?
2 white doors.
Yeah, one is existing, so it'd be, and it is a budget project, we wouldn't want to necessarily have
You
to,
see,
yeah,
That paint's starting to peel on those doors. He needs to repaint them. I think.
probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about one of the grays?
what's your sash color on this building? It's not white.
It's not,
I think it's white.
It's not showing up as white. I can't quite read it. Yeah, that's not white.
What, the door?
Are they 1/1s?
Yeah.
All right, so that's why there's no white. They're 1/1 windows.
no trim?
They got white trim, but there's no buttons. And I'm having a problem with 2 white doors right in the corner.
Well-
They're very odd configurations we don't normally approve.
So, can you get Tommy to paint them gray?
I think Tommy can handle that, yeah.
Okay.
What color gray? Nantucket gray? That's the darkest of them all.
There you go.
Nantucket gray.
Nantucket gray.
Okay.
He'll love it.
Now, Abby, your motion is to approve with both doors, garage doors being painted Nantucket gray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty,
Everywhere.
however you pronounce it.
We call him Ned.
You call him Ned, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, there were a whole lot of concerns.
I think he's revised a lot.
He made a lot of changes, and I apologize in advance for the lack of clouding, but it would have
Clouded
overclouded the
everything.
drawing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question for you, where you have future dwelling, what is that?
Future proposed dwelling, that's TBD, to be determined.
All right, here's your problem. How tall is the structure?
This is 24 feet.
This is too much space. don't you think?
Secondary dwelling can only be 22 feet, and we're not going to allow a secondary dwelling in front of the main dwelling.
This is on the back of the lot.
I know this is, but you're going to be putting a secondary dwelling in
This is
front
the
of it.
secondary dwelling.
Does
And
this
it
have
can't
a,
be 24 feet.
hang on,
Yeah.
no garage in here?
No. It cannot be 24 feet. That's what I'm
Sign
saying.
that.
When I saw the proposed, the future main dwelling in front of it, towards Catch-a-Lot, this has to come down. This can't be that big. Plus, TJ, you know there's a
You know what
20%
the-
rule between the two, right?
Yeah, square footage, yeah.
You don't have an unlimited amount of square footage out here.
Yeah.
But you know what she's talking about, right?
Yeah, the
22
guideline of 22 feet and the 20%.
Yeah, so if you do your guest house first, the issue is you gotta be careful, because then it would mean
Yeah.
the
Kill your
main
property.
house would have to be 22 feet high, and I
I-
don't think you want that.
I
And we're not
understand
going to
that.
approve that because that's in front of the bigger building. So, you want to rework this again?
We could chip away at the height.
I think-
I would like to hear comments on the
Two
rest.
over twos aren't appropriate on the structure.
Okay.
Diane has
I
some
think
comments.
there's 2 over 2s on that street existing.
Not on the structure, not a structure of this design. Diane?
Okay.
Yeah,
Some of them were moved in. Diane?
You've got too much space between the windows on the first floor and the windows on the second floor.
What is your plate height?
Either the windows have got to be made bigger or something. That's
Well,
too much.
they're not going to be 2 over 2s anymore. So what is your ceiling height on your first floor?
9
9
feet.
Well, that's where you're going to cut out 6 inches right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So,
And we mentioned not 2 over 2s, right?
and
Yeah.
there's too much wall on each side of the door, on the windows and the dormers.
What? That's
The
what
door
you're
would have
telling
to
me.
be pulled in.
Okay.
These windows should be bigger.
Right. So, we were looking at the northeast elevation with those little gable dormers. First of all,
Northeast has shed.
Right?
oh, so sorry. No,
There's
yeah,
a north-
right.
previous-
They changed
don't look
that.
at the
This
previous
is
one.
the previous.
Previous.
Well, they're still far
Okay,
out.
yeah, so, but the real issue is not shed gable, it is, if those C windows were made taller, then the space between the bottom windows and the top windows would be reduced, which would be a good thing. However, if you're planning on getting rid of some of your floor sandwich, your ceiling height on the first floor anyway, then that problem might just solve itself.
Yeah.
Should he bring sides in a
They have to
little?
come in.
Yeah, they're a little
Windows are
wide,
floating
Little
on these
wide.
dormers.
yeah.
Wait, I'm not sure I'm understanding.
This is the northeast elevation, Abby. You've got those 2 shed dormers.
This is what we're talking about.
And they're just like, if you look at how wide they are in relation to the window.
See, there's pulling in the cheek walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was just on the proposed northwest, were you saying to switch the big windows? No, he did that.
No.
Okay.
I see some other problems. That southeast walk down and that huge window well, those are actually facing Catch-a-Lot.
Yeah.
Probably not the best location for that. These heights are all the same. I
This
think
is
there's
down
some-
below, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I think there's some massing issues here, and when you go to your southwest, you've done that, pull it in. I think there's some massaging we're gonna do to this thing, because it's really one long monolithic 2-story thing with 4 flush dormers facing the road.
Right. With no added massing. at
We've
all.
run some additive massing off the other side, but I would rather have the run that long wall on the back and have the additive massing go towards the capsule line.
And couldn't the walk down
Because
go
that's
on
40
that
feet
far
long
side?
of one big solid wall with flush dormers.
Yeah.
I'm confused about something.
Mhm.
These perspective views
Right.
do show a garage. Was there a garage in here last
Yeah, on
time?
the
Right here.
southwest elevation, page A 2.2.
Oh, I thought you said there was no garage.
No, there is.
Okay, well, so then just to be clear on this.
Only over the garage portion, the rest of it has to
Well,
come down to 22.
No, but
That's the way we run it.
that's fair, but he should know that. So, over the garage portion, it can be 24 feet high.
But it's going to look very odd. We've had
That's
this
what we
problem
have.
before,
I'm just
where you
saying.
have it attached to a 22-foot high structure. It does not look well. So I
Well-
don't think that's going to work because actually the garage goes into the body of the house, and this is not a garage apartment.
Right.
Most of this structure is not garage apartment. So I think that has to be reworked. The garage has to be called out from the structure more. And you can futz around with that on its own,
Mhm.
not necessarily separated from the structure, called away from the, called separately on the structure. Because right now, all I have is one big box with a bunch of flush dormers at too high. So
Well,
let's not keep
I think
going.
that's the main thing is to try and get it down a little bit.
That
That will solve it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flush dormers, guys.
One store, some additive massing, I don't
And I don't mind
see.
putting up dormers up on the roof and run the roof across.
Mhm.
That'll get you some height out of there.
Right.
So Diane's made a motion to hold tax lot for revisions, correct?
Right.
All those in favor?
Right.
Thank you.
Alrighty,
Is Mark Lombardi here?
yeah,
There he is.
Mark Lombardi. So we're going to go to Torrey Mills, 10 Old Westmore Farm Road. I never got a chance to hook up with you, you were sick. But there are some we've already approved the pool up here, right, Mark?
You have, I believe.
It's the changes to the pool that are alarming.
Well,
And I'm not personally going to approve a waterfall, okay, facing the road.
may I? Okay. This is an extremely low
We all know
profile.
it a lot. That's
It's
why
a
you
little
get the house.
agitation of water, little intangible feature. No? Okay. I don't think there's view there. I really don't.
In the winter, you can get a glimpse of it. And if you have a wall up there with a waterfall, not happening.
18 inches.
No.
We really wanted that.
First of all, that waterfall ain't going to be happening in the wintertime. I think we all know that.
But you can fully see it.
It's just a very
There's one in
thin little
town.
copper.
What else are we doing on here besides that? We've approved a lot of stuff.
Pepper Frazier's mother's house on the corner of Franklin and Pine Street. That funny little
All right,
half
let's
story.
stick to this.
Okay.
What
This
else
is
are
a,
you asking for here?
well, the landscape itself, and it's a very simple landscape. You know, there's the fencing, of course.
I thought we did some of this landscaping before.
You have. It changed owners a few times. There's an existing driveway there. The grades are such that the guest house is basically flush with grade with the pool, and the house has the the normal steps,
Right.
around 28 inches higher than the house.
So all we're in here for right now,
Pool and landscape, fencing.
we already did approve a pool, which was actually bigger than that pool.
That's
As
correct.
you're showing now. This is a smaller pool.
Well,
It covered more of this area here.
Can't say
It was
no
a
to
lap
that.
pool that was bigger. And we've already approved the fence, so what's the change in the fence?
I'm using post and rail down in that, along the 25-foot border. Got to understand that drops down significantly too. So-
What did we approve before? Wire and,
I think that was wire with posts.
Yeah.
That was ugly. This is that split rail that you like.
not post and rail.
Not post and rail, split rail.
Three rail
Correct.
with the black mesh,
40 inches high.
which is probably better than what we were going to see before.
It is heavily vegetated
Where?
there along that
This
20
is-
Going for a 3 rail now instead of a
Instead of the
2 rail?
well, it has to be 3 to get the 4 to 8 inches.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, archway gate, we don't have a picture of that?
There is something in there.
Picture.
And the post in Michael Caine has these these kits. They're really nice. It's heavy duty. And I changed the gate style because they all have scoop out, and I know you don't like those.
Where is this heavy fence? Where's the board fence on, as opposed to?
It's an enclosure over there, over by the main house, that incorporates the air conditioning units.
Where
So
is
there's
that?
nothing, it's the
But
ACD.
I've asked you before, we gotta do this every single time you come in, you've got to highlight.
I did?
Like, I don't have any highlights. They don't reproduce when you copy them.
Oh, wait, no. I highlighted them all, didn't I?
Yeah, but
But when they come, when you copy this, it's not highlighted.
Well,
Ooh, I just gave you 5 copies. Yeah, there it is, right there. Which
You
one
don't
do
have
you
that
have?
one?
We're talking about here, we're talking
no,
about where that
well,
fence
Mark's,
is, right
Mark's
here.
fence that we were just talking about is here.
Yeah,
That's
with
right.
the ACU is,
This is where you gotta highlight it.
What the hell? How did you get those? Okay.
Because your
Oh,
little
okay.
fence here with the AC units is not highlighted.
I thought I
The
highlighted
fence
on those
behind it
plans.
is highlighted, but the fence around the AC units
You,
is
maybe
not
we'll flip
highlighted.
the other plan. I don't know which one plan. I didn't highlight. Maybe you got one. that
Only,
didn't get
only
highlighted.
one is highlighted.
Only one is highlighted?
Well, the
Okay.
fence is highlighted, but not that,
I see what you're saying. They take my plan and they copy them at the, okay.
yeah. So,
I see.
that's what I'm saying.
what part of this looks out on Pilgrim Road?
Right here, this is that whole wetlands thing they can't touch. We've already approved a pool, this.
Right, no, but I was trying to,
They have such a heavy evergreen border of this type of evergreen. It's an arborvitae that they tear down eat.
Is this Pilgrim Road here?
That's correct. That's Kolkata.
Yeah.
It actually, what is that road? That's old, what's the road that goes up?
There isn't, that's not a road.
I know, it's just a driveway going to somebody's house.
It's going to the Red Barn,
That's right, that's right.
and they're all the
Yeah.
same little right of way. But it's
Okay.
not a road,
Is
it's
it-
an
it's a
easement.
dirt road?
It's an easement.
Yeah, it's like a shell road. It's not a
Which
paved
is
road.
why we allowed them to put the Belgian block apron on a dirt road, because you can't see it.
The surveyor said they do have approval for 2 curb cuts.
Yeah, well, this is an existing curb cut,
I gotcha,
and this is the other curb cut that they got,
gotcha,
but this one's always been done.
gotcha. Okay.
And you, that one's a concession, garage.
So it's the fencing and the pool, is that what we're here for?
Yes, we're here for the fence, the change in the fence around the AC units, and actually the pool should be included in the change, because the pool's changed.
The reason why the pool changed, because there's easements all around this. You cannot
I know,
believe.
but the
Yeah.
problem is
Yeah.
that you
Change
didn't,
the
you
side.
didn't put that on the application as changed, and you didn't circle it as changed.
Okay, okay.
Every single thing that changed off the original pool approval needs to be highlighted and called out.
Okay.
I don't know what the application says, Katie.
What are you asking about?
Pool also changed dimensions.
There's no dimensions on that. There's no dimensions on it at all.
All right, we're gonna have to fix that in the office.
I put them on the
Does anybody
plan.
have any problem?
No.
It's got to track there.
Okay,
And it wasn't highlighted here that the pool shape changed.
okay.
Every single thing that changes, including if the patios change, just go in and look at the original approval mark, and
Okay,
then highlight every one of these as to what changed.
okay.
where is
Does
the,
anybody have any problem with this?
yeah, where is the pool fence?
This,
You have your 3
Split rail
rail
all the way
fence.
around.
Yeah.
Then you got your privet type
He's going around the whole property?
going.
Pretty
No, he's
much.
tying it into the house here and tying it, yeah, I mean.
Where's
he's
here?
not-
I don't see anything coming across.
See that little, these are the gates that you gotta go through to get into the backyard, right? So it's coming across from the house. and
All
it
right, so
goes
that's
into-
part of the fence?
Yeah,
and
that's part of the fence, and then it goes in here, and then it comes back and it hits under the backside
this
of
is
the house.
actually
here.
part of the lot, Diane, right here, so it's not the whole perimeter. He's keeping people off the wetlands. So this is the lot.
Yeah, I
they're small
figured that
buildings.
was the
Way
lot.
up
I
on- he's
I
up
can see
here.
that.
With
And
slits
so
in
he
stone,
keep
and it
everybody
just
from
spilled.
going down there,
Is this
because that was the agreement.
That is 1 to 10, I think that is.
Okay, is everybody okay with this?
I'm just trying to figure out how big are these little water
They're
features?
tiny little spillways. They're called spillways. I wouldn't call them fountains. That the water just spills out of these little dishes. They are so, it's more of a sound effect than anything else.
And that's precisely what nobody wants. We're not here for sound effects.
It takes away all the noise in the
Can you turn it
neighborhood.
down?
I was gonna
Turn it
say,
down?
it'll be obscured by the kids screaming in the pool
Exactly.
anyway.
It's a little, little trick you do to keep the noise down.
Right now, this couple is getting along with that couple. You start running water 24 hours a day, right next to their new bedrooms, that isn't going to be
You
a
know-
very happy time.
One rental, it's over.
My next door neighbor on Pine Street has a water feature, and it makes that sound.
Which we didn't
My
approve.
That's not
probably a bad
my
thing.
point. My point is, my daughter's bedroom looks out on it. She loves that sound.
There you have it.
That's great.
She opens
we
her
didn't
window and
approve
listens to
that.
that sound every. I know it's just.
That was a big thing in
I had to
schooling,
say
was the intangible features.
For our purposes, however, if it's not visible, and it probably won't be visible, if it's only
I
how
don't
tall?
think so.
It's, the profile is so small,
What is
it's
it?
18 inches high off the pool water. You won't even see it.
And that information isn't on here either.
Give us
Okay.
a little elevation of what it looks like. Who's
Okay,
building
I have,
it
I
for
have,
you?
I have a lot of pictures. I've done these in a lot of pools.
We can
Are
approve
you
this.
building it, or is Larry building it?
I'm not building it, I'm
All right, we gotta keep
subcontracting
going.
to Custom Gunner.
Motion to approve as drawn with,
No, it's not as drawn. Motion to approve through staff with all the drawings being highlighted compared to the original approval as to what exactly changed. Which means you go in, you draw a circle around the pool.
Yeah. I gotta
Draw a
find the old
circle around
plans.
the they've got them. Draw a circle around the patio. Draw a
Okay.
circle around this. You know what I'm saying?
I
Mark?
do, I do.
If you're revising, you need to revisions to, and then maybe a certain number here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you, that, oh, that's the old certificate number of the other, okay.
That
Got
always
it.
has to come in when you're revising.
Got
A
it,
reduced copy of that previous certificate,
gotcha.
so they have a copy and they.
I see how that works,
For
okay.
Terry's purpose, let's not waste any more time
Yep.
here. But for Terry's purposes, the motion was made by Abby to approve through staff with corrected application and corrected plans, so they track showing exactly what has changed on both the application and the drawing. Okay?
And I'll give you an image of that,
That's all.
that,
You got,
that
you can do it
waterfall.
through staff. All those
Got
in
it,
favor?
thank you.
Aye.
38 Pleasant Street LLC.
I don't think I'm sitting on this one because I didn't.
This is brand new, but he didn't sit before, because he did the work on the house.
Yeah, I did their work just after Toppy let it go. I'm going to recuse. I mean, it's not a big deal, but
All right, so who's sitting on this one?
The other three?
So we're all,
Yeah.
we're all okay now.
this is existing.
What? You're looking at the house? That was already, correct. This is just for,
Hardscape and spa and fencing.
yeah.
The wrong one there?
This is the spa.
it's on the site
It's
plan.
on the site plan.
If you're recused,
I know.
don't
So
say
Did you have
anything.
two applications?
Did
Well, we
this
have-
belong to Joan Larrabee?
There was,
No, it's Toppy.
Toppy.
there was an application the week before for a French, for a single door off the back to the
I
patio,
thought she had originally owned
and
that.
that was approved.
So
What?
this is,
We got the house
the
stuff
application
approved.
says changement of the door. Is this the correct application?
No. There's nothing on the house changing on the door. We changed it on the other.
We already got this approval, I thought, to change the window to the door.
Yes, all that was done.
It was on consent.
For one
However, what we're looking at here is not the spa.
Hold on, but
That's what I'm telling you.
Maybe there's another.
did you have
I
that?
saw the spa, remember?
Yeah, there were two applications. One
I
made
don't
it,
know what this is.
that's-
It's probably because the applicant, I'll go get it. It's probably flip-flopped from the consent item on Tuesday night. Main house
Yeah,
and the door change.
this went to consent.
right.
The house part, the pool did not.
I'll go grab it. Wait a second.
Well, why don't you get somebody to bring it over?
All right, I'll send it.
You want to call somebody to bring it over? Let me hand this back.
I was just holding it up.
This is not the right one. All right, we're going to move on.
Can I say something, Ash? The application is for the spa. The site plan is relevant. That's the only drawing for the spa is actually the site plan.
Do we have a cutaway? Did you tell me it was at grade?
They're at grade, yeah. Even though this set of drawings does represent the house changes, the site plan is the only drawing that comes with
Have
the
we already
spa
approved that?
application.
Have we already approved that retaining wall?
The retaining walls was there when my client
That's what
bought
I'm
it.
saying. It's already there.
Yeah.
I'm having a problem with it because of the distance between the house and the garage. You can see right into the backyard. Now, you were going to address that.
Yeah, we were looking at proposing there's a type 2 fence that goes across the Pleasant Street elevation and
Where?
this Silver Street that's existing. So there's a type 2 fence that's existing that goes here. There's a type 2 fence that's existing that goes here.
32 feet, 32 inches high.
No, I'm not done yet. There's also a privet here, there's a privet here that's about 6 feet tall. I'm just telling you what's existing. There's an existing 5-in-1 fence that goes down this property line. So to mitigate visibility, we were proposing that you could do a 4-foot fence from here to here, or a fence and a privet with a gate.
Where'd you want the spa?
It's there. It's flush with grade
That's it?
in the back. Yeah, correct. And this is what you guys approved last time.
What is this? What is this?
The snake?
No, around it.
This,
Is it a
Paving.
deck?
it's a deck that's
Wood?
flush with grade, yeah, but actually my client yesterday said he preferred it to be
Stone.
all patio
Yeah.
back there.
How much all patio?
Well,
I mean, like the whole
that
damn
area.
yard patio?
the area that's shown as deck would be patio.
So it'd be an extension of the existing patio.
See, there's already stone there. It just extends.
Yeah, that's right. The stone wall is all existing.
So there's no freestanding wall to sit on. Normally spas are 18 inches out of the ground with a little wall.
No, the only thing that's out of the ground is the thickness
Coping?
of the hot tub cover.
Okay.
So,
Well, this is where I was concerned from here and from here, right at it.
I think the only place you might catch a glimpse is between the existing garage and house through the 6-foot tall privet. So if we had another privet between the house and the garage at that corner,
Privet is not gonna make me happy.
Yeah, something's
Yeah.
gonna block.
What is this right here?
that is an outdoor shower.
This
And a
whole
deck.
thing?
No, this is a deck, and this is a changing area, it's an outdoor shower. That's all existing.
I wouldn't wanna run that
This-
from here to here.
Well, this is it's tough to see in this, but this is a screen porch. So
Right.
this deck is elevated off the ground about 4.5 feet.
What about this running this here to
Yeah,
here?
like that.
Yeah, but this is only 12 inches off the ground.
Oh.
There's a more natural connection between here and here. This is a tall wall with shingles, and then, like I said, this is 4.5 feet off the ground. You might be able to catch it in that camp. Yeah, this would be, between this corner and that
Yeah.
corner and that would be a really weird connection. You'd have to wrap it around here. This, just with straight line, or even off the corner of the garage, so that it gets, it came off the corner of the garage like here. Because then you could have a privet in front, privet in front. Yeah.
You'd
Well,
have
we
to
just
put a gate
okayed
there.
a pool on a street with a water feature. This is.
That's not on the street, it's 200 feet off the street, wetlands that can't be touched. This is not cool.
But I think,
Right, it's minimal. It's sunken.
But this is also in the old historic district, and the other one is not.
That's true.
And it's on an iconic house, you know how much trouble you had just getting the
Paul,
porch done.
what's
Yeah.
the ziggity zags?
That's a existing
Snake?
retaining wall.
that's an existing
That's
retaining wall.
retaining wall?
Yeah.
So
I
this
mean,
is actually down below the retaining wall.
yeah, down below the retaining. The retaining wall is about 18 to 24 inches tall. So,
It's taller here than.
and then it berms up and there's landscape on top of it. I mean, in terms of visibility, if you're not convinced of 2 layers of privet, the type 2 fence obviously has opening in it. As you know, the house is painted white, the shingles are white. I mean, you have a 48-inch tall solid board white fence connecting these two.
You are right.
With
It
the-
is very
with
close
the
to the
gate.
historic district. These buildings are very close to where that.
That's right, yeah.
I don't want a 6-foot white board fence.
No,
That would
not
not be
6 feet
appropriate.
tall, no. I wouldn't go taller than, personally, I don't think it should be taller than 42 inches, but, I don't think you're gonna, it's around the corner, from,
I think
Structures.
there needs to be, for me, a fence there.
Okay.
Now, whether it's a 36 type 2 cap picket, that can be white, because the rest of the fence is white, right?
well, that's what I was gonna propose, that it's a type 2 fence, and then there's either privet in front of it or behind it.
In front of that, between it and the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would, because that's
All right.
that's
need to
your
mark-
only site
I need to mark up
plan
a
is
small
right
set.
here. And that, from the point of the spa to the point of your porch
Right.
is where you're going to, if you're going to see it, you're going to see it at all, otherwise you get
So-
too far around.
I don't want to go to the point of the porch.
No, so we'll go
We'll
up,
go to the point of the garage. and
Yeah.
go across. Okay, so we go across here. And what did we decide it was going to be?
36, type
36 inch.
2, white with privet in front of it.
Hold on.
capped or open.
Okay,
Um,
36.
I think
Match
the rest,
other one.
I think the rest of them are capped. I thought
Capped.
type 2 meant it had to be capped.
Yes, it does.
It's gonna
That's what
come.
it means.
It's going to
Yeah.
come across right here.
It's
The
capped.
end of this
It's right here.
building and over to the.
36 installed, type 2 cap picket. White. With a matching gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's existing gate already.
And privet. Planting. And maintain. On the south side of the fence. That do it?
Yeah.
All right, is that somebody's motion?
Yes, my motion.
And correct the plans through staff.
Okay.
Diane's made a motion.
No, that's fine. It's just-
Diane's made a motion to approve with a 36-inch type 2 cap picket white fence with matching gate and privet on the south side of the fence, maintained. Correct the drawings through staff per Exhibit A. Does that work?
Yes.
All those in favor?
All right.
Okay. Ray, you're back.
I'm back
I don't think we're going forward with this.
with Luke's.
He's not here for another 3 weeks. I never got an email specifically about this one. I got an email from him about the other one. But do you think we should hold on to this until he gets back, right? I don't think he realized it was coming up today. He said he didn't have anything on, and I said,
This wasn't on, you only put this on Thursdays, it
Yeah.
wasn't on for Tuesdays.
somebody make a motion to hold Ryan till March 17th.
So
All those in favor?
all right.
Okay. Oak Hill Investments? Yeah, this room's over hot, you're gonna go outside and die.
I have cold.
I can't believe
Green wind coming in that door.
Yes,
that
I
wind,
tried to
I
get
thought it
in.
was gonna knock me over, and it froze my face.
Number
And it
six.
got into that little alcove. It was horrible.
Yeah, but this room you can't breathe in.
You can't breathe in here. I hate this room. I got a planning board meeting in here tonight. I can't stand it. And then at 8 o'clock, the heat goes off and you freeze for 3 hours. We were here till midnight 2
They
weeks ago.
shut it
and
off
we
at
froze- We froze in here till midnight 2 weeks ago.
So this is a new.
Am I signing something for 38
I
Pleasant?
can't sign it because I don't have the application. because-
Oh, okay, so I'll sign that in the office, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I asked somebody to bring it up. but I
All right, Oak Hill Investments, we approved the structures to get out of there already. They were newer structures, 1970s chic. And now they're coming in to replace the structures, but you don't have the old one dotted in, or is that what I'm looking at? It always helps when the old one is dotted in.
That is dotted in.
Okay, take a look at your site plan,
Yeah.
not the locus plan, the site plan.
Okay.
You see the line around the outside? That's the original house. This is inside the original house. See all this? All these walls, everything is part of the
Oh,
original
yeah.
house. You come in from it, you come off of Harbor View, come down the hill, come around, and come up the hill back to it. You have multiples of those?
Yeah. So should I just kind of jump right into it?
Throw everybody one. This is the whole project. They own all of this now. They're moved, we've already given them permission to get rid of the old ramshackle tennis court, the old houses, and Harbor View technically keeps going, but it effectively, practically ends at their properties.
Okay.
Okay, so technically, this is a separate lot over here with the coolers, because that, you can't eliminate that. So there's 1 lot, 2 lots, 3 lots. This right now has a 1-story, I don't know if you can even get it out of there,
They're
with an
gonna,
underground garage.
someone's gonna try and take it.
Oh, more power to them, it's a great house.
Yeah.
This one, not so, you can't get that house.
Yeah.
And they, in order to move this house, they actually have to go through the back where the tennis court was and out somebody else's property to get it out. So it's going.
The second page of that handout I have actually shows the existing But, yeah, I think Linda actually just kind of pointed them out. So there's a cottage here, main house here, there's a pool, and tennis courts out there. But I think that the first page is helpful, just to kind of give you an idea. I think Linda actually just summed it up pretty effectively. Right now, if you actually, if I could just show you guys up here, this is an existing house here that's pretty well developed. And
They don't own that.
They don't own it, but their driveway, basically, in an effort to not really disturb this abutting property, to kind of keep the existing point of access, we don't really run down through Harborview for a lot of reasons. One of them is the neighbor as well. So we're basically coming down, we're going to grant an easement through here. This lot will be developed independently, and then this lot will be obviously developed as basically one parcel, if you will. But because this way, it takes about a year to actually get rid of it. So for the sake of developing this out, we're actually going to combine it, but it will still be retained as two separate properties. That's why we're here too. So just for orientation, I thought that this would be helpful. The proposal for the dwelling is obviously a bigger house. I've actually put together a packet here, which I'll pass around. Given the site, the location, and the neighborhood, there's actually quite a few houses of similar size and scale. We did actually start with an original, kind of much longer version, if you will. We actually cut about 40 feet off of it.
The original house is 105 feet long,
I believe so, yeah.
Something like that?
You can see it's actually
and
almost
this one is what,
overscale.
90?
I want to say just, it's under 100. It should be
It's
dimensional.
not longer than the other one.
No. And we did an initial proposal where it was much longer. We took a couple of rooms off and we kind of made it a bit more U-shaped. We're trying to keep the overall height. It is on a sloped lot. The property kind of goes up and then gets down again, so we're kind of navigating that. We try to keep the
92 feet under.
great ridge height fairly low. Try to keep the pitches consistent. Cottage style. We've added massing. Kind of broke up the mass, try to identify a primary mass, and then have a series of secondary aggregate masses.
Now, how tall is the existing house? Not this tall.
The existing house, it's probably somewhere in the range of like 26 feet.
This is 29
From
The low side.
From the low side, correct.
on the south facing.
Yeah, that's the side. That's a portion that slopes off. So it's about a drop front to back.
Or my the north side faces the harbor.
Correct.
That's still just under 28,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Yep.
I mean, it's on a little plateau all by itself.
It kind of burns up towards the top.
Yeah.
Shingle style.
It's
Spent a
soft.
lot of time. You know what? For what it's worth, I know you don't like the owls.
What did you, I'm
Owls.
actually in favor of the owl. I don't find them offensive at all. I
I
think they're
agree with
appropriate
that.
for the
And-
We
and
don't
architecture.
approve them, guys.
They do
Well,
serve a
they're-
useful
we made
function.
Everybody else
they're
take
all
them
over
off.
the place, and I can't-
Visibility here, probably not so much.
The other thing is,
But we can't
they're
start
like
approving them.
shutters.
We
You just
don't
put them
approve
on.
They're not
Yeah,
approvable,
yeah.
and they've made everybody
One
take them
day,
off.
they just
Start
show
playing
up.
games now.
I mean, I actually
like
think
shutters.
they're functional, and I actually really like the way that they add to the overall
Yeah, they-
composition.
You
I've
improve
always
the
loved
draw
them,
on the front.
but we have always made everybody remove them, as you know.
remove
There,
them.
but you'll
Yeah,
find
because
examples
we're not
of them
permitted.
all
We are
over.
allowed, they're under our jurisdiction.
Well, we can change our jurisdiction.
There's
We
plenty
can
of
say that
examples.
they're approvable.
There, but again, if there's sticking points.
You see them a lot in Grant Point because Grant
You
Point
do.
historically has the pressure, because it's so low, everybody is extending
It's
their
the same in
chimneys to be able to
Wisconsin.
get a
You see
good
them all
draw.
over the place on shingles, especially up on Baxter
Yeah.
Road.
They were a newer addition, these were not
Anyway,
before.
I know,
so
I know.
that's a
I
big,
know, but it's a part of the evolution of
If
the-
they're a huge
I don't
sticking
wanna get
point,
into
I think that they add to it. But we spent a lot of time on this before we brought it in, and I'm happy with it, and I hope you are as well. That's it, I'm sure.
The south faces itself into the backyard,
so south isn't going to be visible.
right? Because behind them, there are several lots, and the next road behind you is 2 lots away, down the hill,
Brewster.
up the other side.
Brewster, and then I think Cathcart, but there's a whole other lot in front of it. There's a lot in front and behind this.
The only thing I find troubling, guys, is the connector. If you look at the south elevation, the connector's eave height is higher than the main
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one on the right of that
Yeah.
is even higher than that one. So the hierarchy of the eave heights, Matt, to the right of the south,
Yep.
are not working. They're actually stepping up when they should be stepping down.
Drop that.
They're lower than the main, the main part of the house. And the same thing happens on the road side, the north side.
Yeah, yeah.
They go up and up and up. They shouldn't. They should go down, down, down.
You can drop that.
Okay. And we do on this one have what has been a sticking point many times on the harbor. If you go to the north elevation, that does face what could be opened on Harbor View. If those two lots were ever sold separately, the pool lot and this lot, we were talking to Matt about the two lots being tied. They can't be tied legally across a road.
Well, yeah, we talked about this. So, I mean, the intent is to do everything. We were actually looking into removing Harbor View, having it terminate in front of, but the process takes about a year and a half.
Is it it's land court, isn't it?
I believe so. To what extent? I mean, the whole property is going to be developed as one property, and we put it whatever deed restrictions in there. But based your experience and knowledge, you said that it's tough to do that. We can have our attorney look into it, but to what extent we could have merged these? We don't want them ever
You can
sold separately.
extinguish. You, as owning both sides, can extinguish
The road.
the road. You have to go through the process to do that.
That's we're looking at like a year plus,
They're
which is
moving a lot
doable.
faster up there than that.
We could try it, but to what extent we could legally merge them through a deed restriction? That's the suggestion, initial
That doesn't
suggestion.
work for our purposes, but
Right.
the reason why I brought that up is because, what's your first floor plate height?
It's what, ceiling height?
Yeah.
It's 9.
Because when you look at the north elevation, which technically is the Harbor View Way side,
Mm-hmm.
these posts are very tall.
Over by the big windows?
By the big windows, but also over the porch itself. So I think the posts are really too tall I don't know what happened here. But the issue's going to be the turret on the right.
Madam Chair, can I just give a little bit of background on that, because I knew that was something that was going to come up. So what this is, we want to have outdoor access to the second floor deck. And most of the times it's been executed. The exterior switchback stairs look clumsy. They don't support the architecture. And in all the examples that we've looked at, they're just terrible. Some people use spiral stairs, some people use switchbacks, and they try and hide them or whatnot. We came up with this as a potential solution. And then I also think that it really, because we looked at it without it, it really complements that overall composition. And I think it's definitely conducive to that shingle style.
Yeah, I was
You
going to
look at
say it's a
Scully's-
shingle style detail.
Vincent Scully's book, there's, and it's surprising how well it integrates. I think it actually becomes a really critical piece of this design.
What is the roof? Is it round?
No, it's just square.
It's,
Just a square hip.
a hip.
It's got a, what do you call that?
What's that?
The roof line where actually there's a hip on all sides.
Yes, it's just a square
So
hip.
this is just square, it's not octagonal.
Nope, just square.
That's what makes it look so odd to me.
We looked at octagonal, but because it just seemed like it starts to become more, or draws more attention to it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm having an issue with
My
it.
house.
Because straight on, it just looks, it doesn't even look like it's a turret.
Octagon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, it does. When you
Well, I
3D,
mean-
yes, it does.
Right, but,
I've worked on every one of the turrets on this island.
but if it was round, I think it,
I wouldn't want it round.
Living room comes
We
up
consider
now.
round.
All right, guys, where are you on this?
I think it's a good design. I like the fenestration, I like the way the French doors go with the windows, I
It has
like
to
the
do with these
massing.
eave heights before we approve it, though. Ray?
Yeah, Linda, and I think that's a good point. And it would be nice to clean that up. The fact that the main eve is lower sequentially than the other eaves that are supposed to be subordinate. About these columns, I don't recall ever seeing, perhaps it exists, when you do the shingled plinth for the column, usually that plinth is straight. It's like, and I think if you made those straight rather than taper those, the overall perceived height of the column would be less because it would be wider in relation to its height.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
Yeah, well, I think it's the tapering of the plinth.
Maybe it's just,
Yeah,
it's
the
too strong.
pieces
It
below
makes
the
it look
shingle
very
piece, the shingle
thin.
wall below it.
Yeah, exactly. It
Pieces
makes it
coming
look
through
very
there.
thin.
But they're also too tall. And
Well, I think that if he made those plinths wider, I don't think you'd say that.
well, I think the wall needs to come up 6 inches, and I think that'll
Oh,
put it
well,
back
you
into
know,
perspective.
that would be
It
fine
might
too.
add
Okay.
it.
I think
Or if
that
they had
would
the
help.
thing up at the top.
If the walls are too
Right.
short and the posts are too
More
long
beam.
for the type of posts that you have. What are the colors on this structure?
Uh,
You say it.
You always hesitate before you say white.
I know, white. That's what we have in the application.
I don't want white on this structure,
That's what we have on the application.
because you've got some odd details. I don't
Yeah.
want white,
I can see that.
period. And it's a shingle style structure, and it'll look nice and gray, cobblestone, the green, whatever you
Oh,
want to do.
green, yeah.
It'd look beautiful,
I agree.
and it would make it quiet,
I have one more.
especially with
Hmm.
the posts, that many posts.
On the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania fieldstone underneath those columns, I was wondering if those could be the more, I've seen that in the rounded rock, whatever that's called, river rock.
Yeah, we can
And I
look
was
at that.
wondering if the chimneys could either be river rock as well, or parge,
I can look at that. We went
instead
back,
of brick, because I think brick will,
we went back and forth ironically on that, whether or not to go with the river rock or the field.
I don't want stone chimneys, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I like
But I
stone
don't mind
chimneys.
parged,
well,
depending on where
Abby's
it's, what color
absolutely
you
correct
put it.
on the Pennsylvania stone though, on the
Yeah,
base. That's
I see
that
that.
very horizontal stuff.
But
Yeah,
why
which
are
you
we
don't
doing
really
that?
see.
Why is
Well-
this elevated out of the ground anyway?
We've got a bit of, kind
That's
of a
adding to
berm,
your height.
to it. And
I'd rather see it graded down.
we wanted to, just to answer your question, Madam Chair, we wanted to actually show, so we've got these, we want to actually do a detail where we actually have these stone bases and then
I'm not in
infill.
favor of that at all.
Just
This
kind
is
of
not
nice
Brand
detail.
Point. It doesn't need to be out of the ground.
Mhm,
You can run it down, because where you lose the height is on the back,
mhm,
where it goes over the cliff and down towards the tennis court.
mhm.
I'd rather see this be at grade.
I can raise.
That'll take another foot out of the height.
What, and the whole thing,
The whole thing will drop a
Dropping
foot.
down.
And that'll take the foot out of the height, which I think is good. It doesn't need to be elevated. We're not talking about something that needs to have an elevation out of the ground. Because the current house is in the ground on one side.
right, you've got a basement entrance, but that's still not gonna,
Yeah, I don't mind that. So just some minor changes. We're okay with the massing
Yeah.
in general.
Okay.
Somebody make a motion to, and I don't really mind that door, because that's not facing the
That
road.
fits.
So Diane's made a, does anybody mind the 2/1?
Nope.
So Diane's made a motion to hold for revisions. All those in favor?
I,
Okay, that
Sure.
one.
Aye.
Do you want to do the other one?
Can you track it, because whatever I do in the main house, I'm
sure,
going to do the best.
All right, he wants to continue, guys,
Yep, yep.
come on. He wants to continue the other one to track, because he's gonna make the same changes on the other one.
Okay.
Oh, you mean you have another house coming in?
The guest house.
Yes, yes.
so moved, do you need a
Yeah,
thing?
Diane's made a motion to
you.
hold 5 Harborview to track 6 Harborview. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much. I bet you we just
Wonder
shot
if
10.
Val's here today.
Dan Lonergan. Val.
Val
where are you?
Oliver.
Wake up, Val.
Sorry.
Come on.
Working on
Come
the
on.
play.
working on the school play.
What? Oh,
I'm doing the sound.
Kingdom,
Oh,
right?
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, she does great sets, let me tell you. Another review of it this year. Did you remember that I have my Carolyn costume, which is a Victorian costume? The top, the hat, and the skirt.
23
If we need it,
years.
we're renting.
This is custom made. It's all Victorian. You've seen it, remember?
Yeah, for the singing.
Do you want it for the lead? She fits it, she'll fit it. I've already spoken to her, she fit it.
Leah.
Yeah.
I'll ask.
This is,
I can
I-
give you
I'm
some.
go down the street from here.
Representing this for the homeowner who is also an architect,
Well, that's always gonna be a
who lives
problem,
in
isn't it?
England.
Where is this?
23 Union. Like this
Oh.
house, right here.
Yeah.
And just, what does he wanna do to this?
It's mostly to do with the rear
Which was already
section,
been.
which was renovated, we
Renovated.
think, in the 70s.
Mhm.
What, the west facade,
Yes.
Let me look.
facing back up to Orange?
Yes. Right under the glow.
Really can't see it.
Because he's not changing anything on the front structure.
This stuff,
I just don't know exactly what was happening here. They already
this,
have a weird
this
sliding
gable,
door and everything else.
this.
Yeah, so here's what's here now,
Uh-huh.
and that's what they're proposing.
But we do need historical information on
I gave a whole
that.
pack.
Okay, what did they do with this thing? Is that
It
all
was-
put there at that time?
In a
see
smaller
these
version,
elevations?
it wasn't that
The front
particular
view is
piece.
So the original piece was already ripped off and
So-
just put on?
Yes.
All right, that, guys, one conversation, please.
We have to open my mouth.
They're talking over there. and
I
she's
gave
trying
a
to
whole,
talk. And she's trying to tell you that the original old one-story piece had already been ripped off, and I think there was a ZBA decision on this, already ripped off, and this piece put on.
This.
Yes.
correct, which you can tell by looking at it, if you want to go through it.
And there's that odd dark
Here's-
brown trim again.
Is that dark brown?
Wow.
Now, they did it all the time back then. Church, the whole Congo church was dark with a dark brown
It's a
trim.
little depressing, isn't it?
Well, they did it all the time. I don't know why they thought that was attractive.
I thought they were changing. They're not changing the trim color.
No, this,
This is what's here,
Yeah.
up, and this is what they're proposing. So the back wing, they'd like to make it
Well, that skylight's not-
2
not good.
stories.
Yeah. They're
And the
taking
windows
this
are the
out,
wrong proportion.
taking that, which is not old.
So this isn't good.
See, that's what's there, not that.
yeah,
So think
I
it's
didn't
brown.
think the bulk of it was a problem. There might be some details, but,
Oh, yeah.
that window's
Oh,
got
yeah.
to change, that
And
window's.
he's putting in skylights all over the places. He's putting in 2 new skylights in the old part of the building on the same plane.
there's one there.
Not in the drawing, there isn't.
Look on the picture.
South
Well, I'm
elevation,
looking at
there's
this as-built drawing, and there's no skylights.
an existing south elevation has a skylight.
That's south. These 2 are on the north. We're adding 2 skylights on the north in the main body of the house. That's a no-go right off the bat. No. Then,
Okay.
guys, he's got some weird crap going on here. I don't like these drawings.
They're really dark.
They're
hard
not
to
good
read.
drawings. We need architectural drawings and not this.
Okay.
You know, frankly, Val,
First off.
it'd be better if you did it this way than this way.
Okay.
This just reproduces really badly because it's so dark.
Okay.
Because if you
You
look at
barely
the
see
north,
what's going on.
if you look at the north elevation, he's got some crazy stuff going on here.
North
Well,
elevation.
it's really
Oh,
And the
like
west.
this.
a one-story shed that
Yeah.
has a void in the
cutout.
middle
Not happening.
for bike storage and stuff.
Oh, is that what that is?
Not happening.
Yeah. You can't see it, Linda.
This is on the north side.
No, you will not see this.
And cutting through, that cut, not working.
Which
We
cut?
don't do that.
You won't see this.
Oh, well, you know, it's funny about that because right now it reads like a cut, but the roof should change height there if possible. You see, because,
Bump up, bump down.
well,
You should carry it
one or the
across.
other.
It's a very low roof, and I think that's where he,
Well, I don't know what he's talking about, because all you do is carry the eave across.
Maybe he has a ground coverage issue. I mean, that would be a simple solution.
you just carry that across.
Yeah,
I'm not
why
doing
not?
an
Then you
inset
get more room on the first floor.
And those French doors are not appropriate the way they're drawn. It looks like a slider.
They're not, though, they are.
Well, it's not drawn
He
right.
knows he can't.
Well, I'm not looking at this anymore with this drawing.
All right,
Well,
Will you
but I-
look at the color
Where's the
renderings
color?
that I wrote,
Where?
that I've given everybody on the front?
That's not gonna help.
I'd
no,
just rather help.
Here,
Okay,
basically,
what did you say?
No, he's got a totally different roof
Have the,
style on the rear.
now I know why why he has the cutaway. He has the cutaway because there's a little window there that he wants to save on the existing.
Oh, I
unit.
see it.
All right, that's
Right
why
here.
he's doing that. Okay, but
This is not the way to go.
Val,
Mm-hmm.
I think that if, to Linda's point, if you broke that roof right there and you did something with this roof, you see, if he wants to keep that window, he does something with this roof, so this reads as a separate piece. Because
Gotcha.
right now, it looks, like Linda says, it looks like somebody sort of gouged a piece out of
Yep,
the
yep,
side
yep,
of a
yep.
gable.
And this piece should not have overhanging rakes. This is an addition to the original
Yeah.
house.
That's,
This is ridiculous.
and then the little shed thing, you can kind of read better here, and, you know, I think that could be improved
I
on.
have a lot of problems with this.
Well,
I don't think it's,
Abby.
could I say something? I think the fenestration on the west, and I think everywhere else you have those smaller windows, but I wish they were more like the original size windows.
Narrow
They're
and
wrong.
tall.
They're wrong. They're short and fat.
Well,
So they're
Oh,
not
there's
the
one
right, they're
window
not
there
right.
that has
Look
to
at all
go.
these. All of these have to go.
all right, they related back to the,
Main house.
And he's got these wacky, look at the south elevation, he's got these wacky overhangs. Look at those two windows in the middle.
but there, you mean, where?
That's the existing, right?
No.
The
that's
house
being
period
added.
is 1890. It was built in 1890. So it says-
That's just
It's wrong. is what it
wrong.
is.
I know, but I think it's drawn wrong. It
I
doesn't
don't-
even have a header
We
on the
don't even
window.
have a corrector on it, so I can't go into that.
I think that the basics are fine, it's just some detail work.
I agree with
think
that.
Yeah,
it's
yes.
completely wrong.
No, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I'll say, hold for revisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Abby's made a motion to hold for revisions and no skylights. All those in favor?
Aye.
I mean, you can't get any more in the middle of your historic district.
Than
I
that,
don't care
yeah.
what the skyline. Up, then the old historic district. They did put an awful addition, but it was horrible. Wait, I'm keeping those.
Okay.
Because I'm going over there again from the outside.
Okay, I got to repeat.
Okay, so that was revisions, everybody was in favor. Where'd this come from? Oh, I think this came from,
I did.
Yeah, I'll sit here though.
where are we going with this?
This is for the
Fraser?
one Brock's, yeah.
Okay, this is Brooks.
There was a buddy who contacted me today. I don't know if he emailed Mark or anything because Mark isn't here today.
Well, Mark doesn't give it to us anyway, so what did the thing say? Did you see it?
I didn't see it. He had called in and wanted to see the plans, so I showed him the plans. But I can share his state address. He's one Brock's Court.
Well, he's straight back.
I think, yeah, he's
He's
three.
Richard Ray's mother's house,
Yeah.
straight back.
Yeah,
You run
he's
right into
straight
the
back.
building.
And then the Frasers bought the lot to the left, you know, that empty lot in the back of, so if
They
you've
weren't
got,
allowed to subdivide that, Lindsay. That lot in the back goes with the front house.
it goes with the front house?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
well,
weren't
I
allowed
mean,
to subdivide
that's the way
it.
it
They
was.
were told they couldn't subdivide it, and that was the end of that.
Oh, okay, I was unaware of that,
But
but,
the pool can't be on a lot by itself.
But there
right,
was-
so, oh, sorry.
He had some concerns.
This is-
A little long story short, I don't have it with him because I don't know if he forwarded it to Mark. I just told him something from there, just to make it clear,
This is
I got you.
it comes up.
Yeah,
the
it's
historic
Victorian.
This
No,
is
it's
the,
not.
no, it's the south
No,
side.
it's
ends
not
right
in the
there.
old historic,
It ends
because
right
it's
there.
right across the street,
Right.
but it's in the so-called historic district, which is a little,
Yes, it is in
Right.
the old historic district. It is not in ROH.
I think it's
Right.
R1, right?
It's R1
Correct.
Yeah,
for about another nanosecond.
yeah,
so it could have a pool.
yes,
That's right at this moment.
yes.
It may not have a pool by the time you go and you get the permit, because there's a warrant article, I believe, to put it into ROH.
Well, we
And then
would
you
file
cannot
for a
have the
permit
pool.
like tomorrow.
The warrant is out? If it's out, is it warrant in the
Yeah.
paper today?
Yes, and that's what I was
Too
told by
late.
Marcus. It's
You
too
can't
late.
get the pool.
If,
No,
No, it's already
you
been
cannot have
advertised,
the
Marcus.
zoning articles take effect the minute they're published in the newspaper.
okay,
There's always that option if the Attorney General in August bounces it. But only for zoning, not for anything else in the warrants. Only zoning articles take effect the minute they're published in the paper, which was today. So you cannot now have a pool, period.
But do you really want a pool in like historic district?
but now, but you're saying like if
There's nothing to do with this.
they could appeal, or you're saying the Attorney General could bounce it back?
They could bounce the change in zoning, which he's never done for ROH.
Right.
So once the R1 goes away and ROH crawls across the street, which I believe, Katie, this is part of that group. It's going up Main Street.
Well, this,
I would talk to Marcus in zoning.
No, Mark has nothing to do with it.
Marcus in
It has nothing to do
zoning.
with it.
I
It's
just spoke-
I
it's
thought
us.
it was
It's the
across
planning
the
board
street.
voting on it tonight. Oh, we already voted on it last week.
because
Marcus
I
has
thought it
nothing
was
to do with
across the street and not on this lot. I thought this lot wasn't effective.
This lot is not in the ROH as of yesterday. The old historic district goes all the way up to King Circle.
Right.
But the old historic district is not the one where pools are prohibited.
It's the ROH. And you're saying this one is now in the ROH?
There's a whole group going into ROH.
From what I saw,
Main Street and Gardner.
this,
I didn't think
this
this one-
goes in, this Brock's Court, because it was on our view list as 44 Liberty.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the address
And,
is.
but I spent the time looking up on the GIS maps,
Uh-huh.
and the new line will go on this side of it. It will become part of the old historic.
I think it goes around up in here.
I thought
Yeah.
it was across the street, so I...
It is right now.
It is now.
Uh-huh.
Well, can we talk about it in general terms?
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
can we
No,
still...
there's no point. If it cannot have a pool, period.
Well, I was going to say I would not be in favor of a pool on this,
You can't do that. We've already gone to court, and they told us we can't say that. We lost, big time.
So what do we do with this application?
I'm just trying to find out. I don't have, oh,
Who's that?
do you have the, go up and get the warrant. It's up there on that table.
You?
Back here?
Yeah, it's up on the left there. There's like a whole stack of them.
had to take on that kind of work.
I don't know why I registered that on the way in the building.
I'm not proud of those big houses at all.
This isn't yours, is it?
Hey, Karen, is Leslie or Andrew, we're at the HDC meeting, and we have a problem with an application, we need an answer to something. Is Andrew or Leslie around? Because we can't hear this. Thank you. What is the table of contents? Question for you, we're expanding the ROH, correct?
Libby Frazier.
Where are we expanding it exactly up towards Main Street and Liberty Street and Gardner? We need to go down Liberty Street north to North Liberty. We didn't go across Liberty? Well, I know that
Right.
direction, but he was telling me that he was going up
Yeah,
Main
I
Street
sent you
with
a
ROH
text.
and getting rid of R1 all the way up to King Circle.
Okay, okay.
We didn't do that this year? Okay. It ends at Liberty and Gardner. This is ridiculous. There's no table of contents. There's no nothing. Who created that stupid thing? Did you look at the warrant? There's no table of contents or anything.
No page numbers.
Oh, they only put it in the final warrant.
Oh, this is a
So we have to go through the entire damn thing. But it's not extending over there this year.
Okay.
Next year it's coming. Okay. Is the other direction, I know. Okay, because he keeps telling me he's getting rid of the R1 and running ROH all the way up Main Street, down Liberty, down Gardner, because that would cover the area we're talking about right now here. Yes, yes, and that's what we want to do. Okay, not this year. All right, thank you. All right, bye. It will next year.
Okay.
They're moving it north at the moment, North Water Street down that direction,
Right.
getting rid of LC, and next year, they're going to make it track the OHD, ROH and OHD track. Because
Okay.
there are large areas up in here and down Orange Street where they don't track.
Sure.
So you're okay on use at the moment.
Okay.
So now we have to look at the fact, this building is not, your GIS map is a little misleading, because this building has moved to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, move forward.
So this whole thing, this goes with this house.
Victoria
Yeah.
you're working on?
Yeah, so this,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. So this whole lot goes with this house,
This house.
but there's a lot of wetland restrictions.
You can't touch
You
it.
can't really do anything, which is why we put the pool where we did.
Yeah, I knew it was in.
Okay, so,
And the pool is, I mean, if you flip to the plan,
Okay,
the
plan.
pool is, tucked as tight as you can to the house, really, and it's really in the only spot that you can put it.
Oh, you put it in the spot where the house actually used to sit.
Yeah. So,
You did
so
not
it's-
put it in the wetland buffer back here, because you'd never get it.
yeah, we've got it out,
My
so
God.
this is the 50 foot, and then this is the 100 foot.
And there's already a fence here.
Yeah, and so what we're doing is, and it's, we would do a type 2 picket fence, you know, with privet. Not the wire fence, so you wouldn't see it. I mean, you certainly wouldn't see it from Liberty Street. The only place you'd even see the fence is if you came down Brock's Court.
Where are you
showing
having the
wire. You're not
fence?
You are showing
Oh, no,
wire.
it's type 2.
There's no wire.
Type 2. So the fence goes from right here.
Why?
Well,
Why can't it go, as long as
it
you're
could-
shoving a pool in here,
it
why
could
can't it
go-
go
it-
straight across
It
here?
could go right there. The
Right,
only
that's
reason
what I'm
the only
saying. What are you
reason we
talking
were the only reason we were
Guys,
putting
stop.
What?
What are you talking about from where to where?
um,
Here to here?
we have the fence here, going here, so that Libby could have her dogs. You know, she wants to keep her dogs fenced in. But we could just come off this corner if you want to.
I think
With our
that
fence.
this
Well, the other
pool
fence
should,
does this already.
Yeah, it already goes
It
around
already
that
does
way.
that.
I know, that's fine, but that isn't the pool, and I don't think the pool should, in its location, I don't think we should be making a big area. I think we should be confining that pool to the smallest fenced-in area. If she wants to have dogs up there, that's fine, but that's a different,
I'm not gonna ask him to take this fence out.
no, I didn't say take it out
So just run another gate back
Yeah.
Run
there
another
somewhere?
gate across.
there
Okay.
and across
Right
here at the
Yeah, we have-
bottom.
I would get rid of
Okay.
this and
And
run it
just
back
come around
here.
the corner.
What is this? This is deck, you can't run a fence.
Yeah, and this is
You
this
have to
is-
run the fence
Yeah,
down
you have to
here.
run around
Yeah.
there,
It
and
has
then
to hook to the building.
Okay,
and
well,
then
that's,
this is all hydrangeas here anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
But there was one comment from one HSAB member that,
Who was the HSAB member?
Carol Cross.
She actually showed up? That's the first time. Now, she was the only one that showed up?
Correct, so it's just
That is bizarre. The one who never shows up was the only one who showed up?
just
It's
that,
probably snowed in.
No, she never goes to
Pools are not
the...
appropriate in town.
So what did she say?
Pools are not appropriate in town,
Well, that's
and that was,
a comment that the judge already said we can't make.
there must be some way.
That's exactly the way I feel about it, though.
We all feel that way, but right now, until this turns into ROH, we can't tell them we don't like your pool.
No, well,
Can't we
that's
say
my,
it's
that's
not
my,
in keeping with the neighborhood? I
yeah,
thought
I
we
mean,
were
there are no
allowed to say
other
that.
pool, there are no other
If they
pools
can
in this
screen it so
area.
it is not visible from a publicly traveled way,
Isn't
we
Brock's
can't tell
Court,
them we don't like his pool.
I didn't tell him we didn't like it, I said I don't think it's appropriate
Don't
in
stop
this
saying it.
area.
You've already been smacked by
Is,
the judge.
is Brock's
I don't care. I
Way
don't think it's
not a
appropriate.
public way? Is Brock's Court not a public way?
Well, I'm not, I think it's a
Comment.
private way.
That's
It
exactly
feeds,
the
it
comment
just,
was made
there's
before.
only this house, and then there's one house right there.
Right here.
Right.
This house, and this house are all on the same line.
Yeah, they're all,
My grandparents ran that
I
house.
got
That's why I know.
I got
My
you.
father almost blew up his hand in the mailbox, putting a firecracker in there, and it didn't go off, and he opened it and went off.
Ooh. I'd teach him.
That'll teach it
He
for
didn't do
sure.
it again. He was 12.
But everything else, like this already exists, this already exists,
This already exists.
this already exists. I mean, everything else really exists. I mean, we're just really, and we've tucked the pool as tight as we can to the house in the back corner, like as far out of sight as we possibly can, and with the type 2
it's
picket.
randomly shaped.
It's the first one I've seen in 2 years that is randomly shaped, except that one that was 120 feet long.
Yeah, Libby
Oh
didn't
my
want
God,
to
that
have
was
a
not randomly shaped.
rectangle. She
That was
wanted
a trapezoid.
That's right. But and then it's just a bluestone patio around, and you know, simple bluestone steppers, natural flow.
Do I like pools in the old historic district?
I know you don't.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
but what gets stuck is like the people who live here, which is what, 10 feet away?
Well,
from this
it's more
thing?
like 20, but
Yeah, but
It's-
there's-
they've got a fence, and they've got a fence.
Yeah, there's two
And
fences
then
there.
there's a
They've got a
parking
board
corral.
fence.
There's a
But it's
parking
the
corral that's
noise.
always been
It's
there.
the noise
We
that
can't
comes.
talk about noise.
There are no other pools in this neighborhood.
Right. Everybody's going to hate them, so I hope
It's
they
my
have a good
neighborhood.
time.
It's my neighborhood, I know, I know. It's inappropriate, I just can't, I just don't, I mean, you
We
guys
can't
can
do it.
vote,
Philosophically, we
vote on
cannot
it if you want,
say
but
that.
I'm not going to be voting for it. In favor of it.
Do I hate it? Yes, I hate it. But I can't tell you that you can't have a pool because I hate it.
Right.
I
What
still
do you
don't
think?
see
I don't
why
hate
we
it.
can't say you
I'd
can't
love to
have
have
a
a
pool
pool
because
myself,
it's
but it's-
inappropriate to
Why
have.
is it inappropriate if you can't see it? That's the
Yeah, I mean,
problem.
we've
and
kind
that's what
of
the
made
guy
it
said, that's what the
invisible.
judge said.
That's the goal, to make it.
You can put a 7-foot hole in your lawn, and you don't have to protect people from it because you can't see it from anywhere, so it's okay to do that.
What? What are you talking about?
If it's all based on whether you can see it or
Ray,
not.
are you on this?
No,
Why not?
because I did
Oh,
the
that
house
house, you
for
did the
Libby.
house. I don't know if Terry caught that. Terry, did you catch that he is recused?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's flush with the ground, and then you have the.
Yeah,
fence
no,
and
no,
everything.
what I was trying to say, if you judge everything that you do on something like this on the fact that you can't see it, then you could dig a hole that people could fall in and kill themselves, but
No,
as long as
because
you
that is
couldn't
an
see
attractive
it,
nuisance. And it's not fenced.
Does
so
it
that's
say-
not the same thing.
does the judge say,
And it's not a
does
structure.
the pool become an attractive nuisance?
No, that's why under code, legally, they have to have a fence. Now, because they already have a fence back there, they're not actually creating, like that other one we were talking about, where the one in Sconset, we're not talking about the merits of that, but the one in Sconset's different, because all the hoops you have to jump through
Right.
to hide it changes the character and the context
So
to
we
that
could-
extent, but that does not happen here,
Because
because they already
Fence
have
already
the
exists.
fence. It's where the house actually sat, so there was a structure there at one point. The house is all the way back here.
Right, I remember.
That's exactly
but
the
that's
distance the
what-
house moved forward,
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
because they can't touch this except the lawn. And this is the most beautiful stretch of lawn I've ever seen.
Yes, it is.
So they can't put anything back here.
And
So
not
where
only
they're
that, but it
stuck
goes
is
around the
right
corner
where the
to
building used to
Liberty.
be. So they moved the building forward in order to get a little
Yeah.
patio back here, because they got yard, but they can't touch it. So that's why it's there. But there was a structure there all along. And now
Well,
the
that was
structure's
the
moved.
original old,
Yes, now
house.
the structure's moved forward. So, what do you want to do?
I don't
And
think
there
you
isn't
can
a
do
butter
it.
concern. I don't have anything from them.
well, if we can't
Well, the
do
house
it,
used to be sitting on top of the abutter. Now the house is not sitting on top of the abutter.
if we can't do it, we can't do it. If we could do it, I would not vote for the pool. But if I'm forced to,
I think we need to, if he is making a case, plus the structure used to be there, so there was always a structure there. He's making the case that because there's already a fence, there's already screening, I know they had a huge amount of hydrangeas back there at one point. That's
Yeah.
not year-round screening.
No,
You
no,
know
but
gonna
we're
ask
doing,
for
that's
the
why we're
year-round
doing the
screening.
type 2 picket, and then, which already exists, and then we're gonna do the, then we're gonna do privet as well, so you wouldn't see it.
Well,
And then
it's
the
certainly
only
not gonna
person
see
that
it
would,
from Liberty Street.
the only person that would really see it would be the guy on Brock's Court.
Yeah.
right,
He would be the only one that would see the fence, right? I mean, I guess you'd see the fence.
Yeah.
they
sees
see
the
it
fence
from the
now.
second floor looking down on
Right,
it.
sure.
Yeah, and he
sure.
sees the fence now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just telling you how
Well,
I
I'm not
would
comfortable
vote.
with it, but I don't think in this particular case, we can simply say, we don't like your pool,
Right.
because I don't like your pool. But
Okay.
that's not the basis for making a decision.
I mean, the pool is fine, the shape is fun and that. I just don't think
7 feet
it's,
wide.
I know, I don't
It's
think,
tiny.
it's, we've been trying to keep pools out of the historic district. This would be the only pool in the whole area in what
And
is
Lindsay,
now.
you're legally combining the lots, correct? I mean, they're
I'm not
not
sure.
separate lots now, because right now your property line runs right through the middle of it, and
Right,
generally
yeah.
these have to be away from your setbacks, so.
I think that
It's
they,
tying the two
Yeah,
together
exactly.
beyond belief,
Yeah.
and they're owned by the same people.
yeah, they're owned by the same people, yeah.
So that property line really doesn't, property line actually goes here and here.
Right, exactly.
Well, if we're going to go in this direction, obviously the wire fence goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I would just change the labeling to type 2
Type
picket
2.
and bring the fence in, like Diane said, on the left side. Well, I guess, I mean,
Run
I would,
another fence.
I would run the
Run
other
another
fence, like
gate.
Diane said, here, and then that one has to stay there, because of the deck, and then, so,
She'd keep the one she has.
Yeah,
yeah, keep the one she has.
for the
And she'll put a
dogs,
gate
and then
here.
just put that other one in, which will bring it in as tight as possible
Sure.
on the pool.
Okay, yeah.
Is there any way to put anything that's a little bit more evergreen, like the short ornamental stuff?
Along the fence?
Yeah, along this side, along Brocksport side.
We could if
Right
you
here.
want to. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that, or would you prefer a board fence as opposed to
No.
a picket?
No,
The
because
board
that,
fence would look odd back there, I
Okay.
gotta tell you. She's got a nice, that's a nice fence now.
Do you want like an arborvitae hedge? Like
I think
No.
the arborvitae gets too big,
They
too
get
tall.
tall.
I'm
There's
talking
one
about
that-
I'm talking about, Diane, I'm talking about the privet, obviously, but I'm talking about the little, the ornamental evergreens,
The boxwoods?
the short ones.
Yeah.
And there's that one that weeps that really keeps all its needles and stuff in the wintertime, and it weeps all over itself, and it's thick as ever. I'll have to find some.
So what I would
Give it to you.
suggest right now, Diane, is that we hold this for a more substantial planting plan and redraw where the gates and stuff are going and change the notation so it's a type 2 picket. Because it would be a white picket, because the one that she has right now is white.
Yeah.
What if I just turned in through, could we do it through staff if I put an evergreen screen plan on it?
I'd have to review it.
what
before it
color
was
is the
released.
pool?
The inside of the pool? I
Is
mean,
it stone or turquoise?
Yeah, no, it's bluestone around. I mean, the
No,
inside
the
of the pool
inside.
is probably
What
going to
is-
be dark. Everyone does dark
Yeah, everyone
pebble
does
type.
dark.
Yeah.
So we would want that notation on there also.
Yeah, I mean, I figure if I could make all those changes tonight and get it to you for approval, because we do want to file for a permit if we can.
All right, so what would happen is that it would have to be held in the office until I reviewed it,
Sure.
to make sure it's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, and I'll try and get you a picture of that
Yeah.
Weeper.
weeping evergreen there.
They don't have to be 20 feet tall kind of
No,
guys.
Right,
You're
but
gonna
just
prune
like
them.
gets to be
5
like
feet
6.
or-
Yes, you're gonna prune them.
Yeah, of
So
course.
they're pretty.
Yeah,
But you know, those little triangle shaped ornamental greens,
yeah, I think
they're on,
yeah.
we've used them on India Street on the right, next to the old Gambrel. If
Okay.
you look at the little green things over there,
Yep.
that's exactly where they went, so we could hide the thing in the back.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's just
okay.
before
I'll
you
take
start
that.
getting the commercial ones, the
Mhm.
oldest house is that Gambrel on the road, right
Uh-huh.
across, almost across from the Mariner House.
Okay.
If you look up this left side, you will see the ornamental greens that they used.
Sure.
They're short, thick, nice.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so Diane, your motion would be to approve the pool due to lack of visibility, with amendments made to the gates, the fence, the screening. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? Abby's opposed, I'm in favor.
Thank you.
I can't fold
Hey, Lindsay.
it. It didn't fold well. It didn't go well.
That's because it's a pool.
You know how high the ground is.
And it's, part of that motion, hold it, part of that motion,
Almost signed it.
guys, part of that motion is that it's held in the office until the chairman reviews it. Terry? Okay. John? So just, I went through it with him, it was barely off the consent. I went through it wall by wall today, there's only a couple of fenestration changes that need to be made. There was a question about the size of the windows originally, but it is the existing openings, and that we weren't quite sure.
You're talking about this house?
Yeah, I wouldn't, the design.
I love that. I love Gold Star.
The designer wouldn't.
Here's what we chose. I'm getting kind of tired of that. Here's the
Oh,
product.
I know you're.
Yeah.
We had that discussion on
Yes, we did.
Tuesday.
This is a different designer, who never answered.
Oh,
Did we talk about the pool when you were there today?
Oh.
You want the- you want a pool?
I got the ocean. I don't need a pool. Oh, my God. Madam Chair, you want me to describe what we're doing here? or-
I think you can see it.
Okay.
Just go to the windows that I want to change.
What are these?
I'll tell you.
That's nice.
The additions are okay. Where it got a little weird was some of the fenestration on the front. He's going to go ahead and keep the original door.
The front door?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a board and batten, nice color blue.
Yeah, it's not shown, what's there is a proposed change, but we'll keep.
Keep the
per
original
existing.
door.
As-
Okay, so
as
you have to
existing.
fix the drawing
Yeah.
for that. The other thing was the G window versus the D window. Frankly, I think the G window is actually better than the D window. If you're on the,
Oh, yeah, I agree, Linda.
So take the
Right,
D out in the gable.
what elevation?
Put a
is
G,
this?
this,
Southwest.
Uh,
I think the Gs are better than the Ds. Does that work for everybody?
yep,
Where's,
works for
I
me.
don't see it. Oh, yeah.
oh,
If you look at the front, which is the southwest,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay there.
So the D
I'm
top is
ready.
going to a G?
I'm doing it here
Oh, okay,
too.
yep, okay.
Okay, and then, The F window on the right, I didn't really realize that was a 4/4. We don't approve those normally, 4/4s.
It's in that corner window and that, again, it's in
I
that.
don't mind 4/4.
It's actually, in this particular iteration, the panes are going north and south, which we have trouble with
The
it
panes
because
are
they
going
don't.
north and
I got the
south.
You see they're
10-foot
taller?
porch
It's
infill
It's the
addition,
same,
but it
it's the
doesn't say
same,
what
but
elevation.
it's the same as an A, it's just,
Right
just
here.
one less,
Southwest.
It's right here. This is the front, under the porch, right
Yeah,
here.
and where's the front door?
That's changing. It's going to leaving the original Batten front, blue front door.
Okay, and,
The F window on the right, if people are gonna use
and
4/4s.
what's there now, the board and back.
All right, one conversation. If people are going to use the 4/4s, that's the only 4/4 that's ever going to work, because you see the vertical panes,
the
Yeah.
panes are nice.
Yeah, they're
And the G is what we're replacing.
where D is going out
These.
with the C, with the G.
Why do we have to lose the chimney? Or is that it? What's that
The
just a?
chimney was lost to the reconfiguration on the inside.
All right, so let's move on. This is the 1970s, 60s Navy house.
Probably needs to be replaced anyhow.
Okay, so you go over to the next one, which is northwest, which is the left side if you're standing in the street.
Yep.
That D window again is a problem.
And we're gonna make that
will
a
go with G
G.
window.
The G or any window?
It's going from D as in dog to G as in George.
Okay. And the
Um,
G windows come,
The D windows are coming out, and they're gonna be G windows
Everywhere.
everywhere. Now, the C window on that side should be a little bit smaller. It should be top sash of A.
A, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Top sash of A. And do you want to make it 3/3? We've got a lot of these windows, and they can't all be awnings.
Well, we just make it fixed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Carrie, I'm marking up one. You go to the rear. That D window on the rear is going to G again.
Yep.
You know these B casement windows face backwards, require a mirror. Do you
Yeah,
have
they
a
face
problem with those?
milestone.
Yeah, do you have a problem with those? You're on
No.
milestone.
No.
Okay, so then we go over to the southeast elevation. This is where it gets a little queer again. They should probably all be A windows, 3/3s, straight across. Top sash of the A.
Linda, would you be opposed to doing, we're changing, you're going, just a minute, because you're suggesting changing the D to G. Would you be opposed if they were G windows there? It just keeps it kind of more consistent with the rest
The
of the
casement
plan.
in the middle of them is weird.
Well, why don't we just take that out and just put G's all the way across?
But working Gs, working, not fixed.
Well,
You
one
don't
is
want
in the
them-
shower, one's in the toilet compartment, the other one's above the vanity.
You know you're gonna have to have a vent if that window does not open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
they always put it.
I mean, if they're, why couldn't we do an awning out? I don't know.
You can't have
on the
three
side.
awnings on one
Well, no,
side.
do the two fixed, one in the shower and one in the toilet compartment, and we'll do the one over the vanity in the center. An awning.
I don't mind awnings, I hate them when they open in, I really do. I have lived in houses where they open in, I can't stand those pop windows, I can't stand them.
But an out, how about
Just a
opening
regular
out?
awning.
Open, yeah, out opening awning.
Which window?
Which one's
That's
the
the
bathroom?
middle one.
The B window now?
The B, which would be changed to, they would all
All
change,
go to
E,
G.
B, and E would all change to G.
Right,
And
but the
then
middle one would be
Correct,
operable.
Diane. Right, right,
Okay. We have to fix the window schedules.
yeah.
All right, so we've got it marked up.
Is there
That
any-
was the southeast side, Terry, that we were just talking about. All going to, the E window and the B window is in boy, all going to G windows, with the center one being operable as an awning.
There's no way you could incorporate a chimney into this, 'cause I know it's 50s, but you know what, maybe I'm buying this house.
It's not even-
I know, and great point, Abby, and actually, Mark, I think he probably overlooked it, which would change,
Where's your floor plan?
if you go back to the east, northeast elevation, with the three, casements are D in the back, two gable ends.
And you can tell him this is not an acceptable floor plan. He has to actually do what he's paid to do.
Right.
Go ahead.
Did you see
Okay,
his
so
floor plan?
I think what would happen is we are discussing
doesn't want to
putting
be
in
this one.
probably
No.
a fireplace in here, which would make
He
that.
doesn't make the
legal
rules.
thing.
Yeah.
But I did ask him to put it, I think he just overlooked it, but there should be a chimney there.
See if there is.
It would be back, going down the
Some of the
back of
house-
the gable on the northeast elevation.
Over the
This
D
is
wing?
last
Yeah,
time.
yep, it would be right
But
there.
how you gonna do that? You have your basement
And
walk
it's
down
an
there.
expensive
Well, it would be
house,
an inset
and you
fireplace.
took the chimney out.
It would be
Inside?
And I was
inside, so
going
you
to
just have a chimney on top.
mention, and
You gotta be careful of that wall.
Okay, so I'll
Right.
finish up.
Honestly, because of where the house is
really-
and the budget constraints, we
it's an
probably
old
put 0
house.
units in
and
there.
the chimney's been,
You'll load on
and
it.
they're
Right.
redoing
It- But from the outside, it would
look like
be, it would look
yeah,
like, it would,
chimney out.
it would,
It
probably
needs-
look like a
It
real
needs a
chimney.
chimney.
Yeah.
Guys, Terry can't follow 5 conversations here.
Oh.
So where's it gonna be? It's instead of, this G window has to go
Yeah, so
around
the
that.
G window would come out and we'd add, there'd be a chimney.
along that wall.
Yeah.
With a
An
cor-
interior chimney,
with a corbel at
sure,
the top.
yeah, corbel top. We'll draw.
It's a nice,
All
good
right,
job.
Terry, they're gonna
Nice
put,
design.
instead of the G
Great.
window
It is-
on, stop. Instead of the G window on the northeast side on the right gable, there's going to be an interior chimney there. So I
That's
have
my
marked,
motion,
I've
Madam
marked these
Chair.
up. Ray's made a motion per Exhibit A. You have to correct the drawings.
Yep.
You can get a copy from.
And then
from
you
Katie.
do it for staff?
Yep.
Is this it?
Ray's made a motion to approve through staff Exhibit A. All those, and Katie, you can do this. All those in favor?
Aye.
There's Exhibit A.
I can do what?
Never mind.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yep, that's
Okay, hold on.
Whose warrant was this?
It came
I
from
think
up
you
there.
grabbed it from up front.
Just grab it from up front.
Just grab it.
All right,
Oh,
Diane,
this is my
that's you.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Brock's Court is not him.
Thanks, Linda.
Okay.
We're on vacation.
Yes. Somebody make a motion to adjourn.
Most so
So
moved.
moved.
All those in favor?
Does this belong to anyone?
Did you approve the minutes?
No, that
of
was
the
up
last
there.
meeting?
Yes, we did. Not the 30th, obviously.
Ray's supposed to.
All those in favor? Yay. And what time is it?
Sign.
3:05, Terry.
You got to sign this stuff.
What did you do with it? Screening changes.
Yeah, make sure they decide.
The gentleman on the phone was,
I wouldn't approve it, but it was just gonna go to court.
well, it's gonna probably go anyway, so.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have standing, just so you know. There's no requirement for notice on a pool.
Oh, the neighbor?
Yeah.
There's some real bad blood between the two
Yes,
neighbors.
it's
I
been
think
going
we're
on
recording
over,
still.
been going on
Are we
over Brock's
recording
Court.
still, Terry? Huh? Are you recording?
Stop talking about it then.
It's still, the video is still recording.
Stop talking about it.
Not talking about it.
Get up there and turn
What
it
am I
off.
doing?
Yeah.
And the chimney.
Yes. Fence changes, screening,
And
gate
gates.
changes are minimum, right?
Yes, and you've
Due
got
to
the,
lack of visibility.
and you've got landscaping. That we- And
Bye, everyone.
year-round landscaping.